Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial for you for this cluster stitch baby bonnet. Now this bonnet is newborn style, but I'm going to refer you to a size chart that you can make this any size that you want. It's just simply by increasing the height by the width. And it's really easy to do that. We're essentially making a rectangle and folding it in half, seaming up one side. I'll teach you this wonderful new seaming technique that I've learned called the zigzag join. And then we do some rounds with of single crochet and slip stitch to make a cute little bonnet. I love doing these for the newborn photo shoots. I can't wait to do this for my brand new grandbaby, baby Nora. Hannah had a baby, in case you haven't heard, and this little cap was so adorable on her. So anyway, let's get started. So I'm using my favorite Patons Canadiana acrylic with an H hook, and this color is called Cherished Pink. This color was called Hushed Orchid, I think. Oh gosh, I don't remember, but there's only one slightly purple color on their website, on Yarn Inspiration's website. So you can use any yarn, however, with this, because I'm going to teach it to you according to size. It's not necessarily going to be about stitch count, except for this portion right here, potentially. I want you to chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to start by making this ribbed brim section. So another thing to have on hand would be a tape measure. So if you are using different yarn, you want to make 1 inch for the brim. So for me, that was chain 6. And we're going to work slip stitches. Now keep these really relatively loose. Slip stitching can be really hard if these are done too tightly. So even my recommendation, if you could go up a hook size if you struggle with having really tight tension. Chain 1, turn your work, and I'm going to turn it like a page in the book, and I'm going to do that every single time. That'll make it have a really nice, neat appearance. And we are going to work back loop, slip stitch. Work 1 slip stitch into each of these next 5 stitches. So your number always will be 5. And generally this first couple rows are really hard because we don't have anything to hang on to. Here's my last one, just kind of hiding down in there. Pull this up a little bit, keep it super loose. Chain 1 and turn. And just keep going until we have 11.5 inches for the newborn size. Like I said, you'll refer to the chart that's on my website for other sizes for the bonnet. When measuring your completed thing, it's gonna stretch a little bit after we work the first row of single crochet. So I have it at 11.5, but kind of like stretched out. The best thing to do is to work this next row of single crochet and measure it again if you want to be really accurate with how for the brim height or whatever. So we're aiming for 11.5 inches for the newborn size. 0 to 3 months is about 12 inches. So the first row is going to be all single crochet, and we're going to work along the edge. But I want to show you where to exactly work your stitches. So give yourself a chain 1. Start this first single crochet right next to this row of ribbing that you can see right here. So if you pull it out, I'm going for the loop that's right to the right of that. And then I'm skipping and headed over to the next loop. So it's kind of working out that it's one single crochet every other row, but I kind of just look as that as one row. Work it to the next. I hope that makes sense. Now for this last row, I'm just working kind of underneath that loop where the starting chain is, and we'll weave that end in and get it looking really nice. So chain 2 and turn. Oh, wait. Let's measure. Make sure that it didn't stretch too much. This is kind of the best measurement. I've got 11 inches. We'll still be okay for that. It's still going to stretch a little bit, but we're going to be good for the newborn size. So for reference, I've made 40 single crochets. So we are going to chain 2 and turn. And in that very first single crochet, work 1 double crochet. This counts as our first cluster, the chain and the double crochet. Now we work a double crochet 2 together cluster into each single crochet. So if you've never worked one before, I am yarning over, inserting my hook, yarning over, pulling up a loop, pulling through 2, and then repeating, inserting my hook into the very same stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through all 3 loops on my hook. So this is the cluster portion of the hat. So we're going to work 1 row of these clusters, and then we'll chain and we'll work a single crochet row back. So I'm going to continue working clusters into each single crochet. In the very final stitch, I only worked 1 double crochet, and that's all we need. So chain 1 and turn. Look how pretty that looks. And now it's 1 single crochet into the top of each stitch going across the row. And after that row, see, we're almost at 12 inches. So that's maybe measure after we do that row. So it is still worked out though, good newborn bonnet size, somewhere in there. Okay, so finish your row, chain 2 and turn. Work until you have six rows of cluster, or I did 5.5 inches of depth of height. So once you're finished and you have the width that you need, what we're going to do now is fold this in half and have this side, according to what I like, is my right side. You can choose if you like this side better. It's completely up to you. If you like that look to be the outside of your bonnet, that's fine, but just pick. Now we are going to seam up the back of the hat, and I like using this new to me zigzag join. I think it looks really cute. What I'm going to do is just insert my hook from the back side of that first stitch of the round there, and then pull through with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to come over here to the stitch that's across and slip stitch. So I'm going to zigzag it. So that means in the next stitch, but you got to come at it from the back. And the carried yarn kind of just stays right up the middle. So you just take turns slip stitching each side, and just keep an eye on, make sure you're slip stitching to the coordinating stitch across the row there. So like this would be number 4. I'm making sure I'm doing number 4, the 4th, like that, and go all the way up to the top. Now, when you get to the top, I just clipped and pull through, and I'll have to weave that end in later. So this is what the join looks like. If you are not a fan of this, no big deal. Just use your tapestry needle and join the two sides together. But here we go. This is what we've got so far. Now we need to work stitches around the back and get the ties on. So choose either one of the corners. It doesn't matter. Insert your hook and pull up a loop, and let's single crochet into that same stitch. Now let's work a single crochet in each one of those 5 stitches. We're kind of working on the underside of that starting chain there. Okay. Now, remember, we have a row of single crochet and a row of these clusters. So what you really want to do is work 1 single crochet per the row of the single crochet row, and 2 single crochets around the chain, or that last stitch. I think it's the chain on this side. So essentially 3 single crochets per, the 2 rows. That'll give us a nice even base. We are going to be doing some decreasing in the next round, but for this round, we're going to get a nice base of single crochet worked as evenly and neatly as possible around the edges of our bonnet. Okay, so I have my first row of just all single crochet worked around. This would be the neck portion here. And I worked one per stitch right there on the ribbing portion. Let's make the first strap by chaining 60. Chaining 60 was about 12 inches for me. So start in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to slip stitch back to the bottom of the bonnet, and this will be our first strap that we make. So I've slip stitched all the way back up that first tie, and now I'm back to the first single crochet of this row, and we're going to do some reducing of the number of stitches. So single crochet into the first two, or I'm sorry, the first 5. And then skip 1, work 2 single crochets, skip 2 single crochets, and repeat that all the way around to the other side. So it's 2 and skip a stitch, then 2, and then chain 60. Oh, and I forgot to say, so you do want to just work 1 single crochet into the final 5 single crochets. We don't want to reduce on the brim portion. We're just going to keep that even. Okay, so it kind of helps to just bring this in just a little bit. Now work your 60 chains and then slip stitch those 60 chains, and the 59 chains, I guess you would say, and I'll meet you back right. So I've worked my slip stitches into this, my last tie that I made. And now let's just work 1 more round of single crochet into each of those single crochets that run across the back. And then we'll slip stitch right here in that last stitch and tie off and weave in the ends. Start working 1 single crochet into the top of each of those single crochets. So like I was saying, I'm just going to slip stitch into this very last stitch right before the tie. Now I have a bunch of ends to weave in, but basically, here you go. Here's your cute little bonnet. Okay, so we had a rectangle, we joined it. You basically just go back and forth, and here's those ties. A final thing I will say is that we use these bonnets mainly for newborn photo shoots. I know there can be a danger with the long ties that for choking hazards with babies, so please be very careful and not leave the bonnet on the baby while he or she sleeps. It's mainly just for photography. And then I think you can definitely make it for an older child that wouldn't have that danger. But there you go. A cute little cluster stitch bonnet. All right, thanks you guys for stopping by. Good luck with your project, and we will see you next time.